I'm Joseph Firmage. I've pioneered technologies that have changed the world, and I'm about to release revolutionary new technologies that'll blow your mind. I was always fascinated with the stars. Astronomy was one of my most beloved hobbies, as was astrophotography. But it was in 1980, I believe, when my father and mother sat me down and said, "Son, you're going to watch this program." And it was Cosmos by one of my great heroes in life, Carl Sagan. And every Sunday night for the next 13 weeks, I was glued to the television for that magnificent, moving, even spiritually moving sense of the grandeur and wonder of the cosmos. And so I was convinced that I'd become an astrophysicist at that young age. And so I was inspired by my parents. The other inspiration I had was that I was a computer geek from a young age, and figure out how they worked, and I began to program them by about 6th grade. And I never lost that passion. It went on further. I got early entrance with a scholarship to the physics program at the University of Utah, and was marrying my interest in astrophotography and astrophysics with my love of computers. And my first software program was actually a star mapping system. Sirius was formed in 1988. Our first product, a rapid app builder, was my first $1 million license to the Pentagon when I was 21. I started my first company at 18, and I sold it at 23 for $23 million. Stunned, amazed, and humbled that I'd become the youngest vice president in Novell's history. Those times were extremely thrilling, just exciting to not only have a seat at the top table of negotiations, but to genuinely have a material impact on the future of the operating system networks that run the world today. Then from 97 to 98, late 98, we completed another string of maybe 15 major acquisitions for $750 million. And we built US Web CKS then into a real giant. I was personally signing contracts every day with what became over 50% of the Fortune 100, plus innumerable startups and mid-sized companies all over the nation. And it was an incredible experience. We had remarkable foresight. We really did. We had such a dynamic young group of intelligent leaders who were all about thinking about what we're going to use tomorrow. We predicted, for example, that websites would turn into apps, and that apps would then turn into audio conferencing, and that audio would go video, and you'd have a 20-year forecast of this is what, a decade before the first iPhone shipped? Where are we now? And so we built the infrastructure to allow these things to happen. From 1998 to present, I have been pursuing my two passions in my professional career. Fundamental physics, propulsion, and electricity generation that are truly revealing breakthroughs that will transform over the next years and decades how civilization propels and powers machines. And we are confident of that. And the other part of my career, the past 20 years, has been continuing to pioneer breakthroughs in the internet economy. What's exciting about what I've been embarked on for the past 20 years, from 1999 to 2021 here, I didn't step down to a lesser responsibility, but rather forward to transform propulsion and electricity generation with the same vigor and forward insight of what's over the horizon and bringing it together now. The future you have is so far beyond what you've hoped for. But it is in the good sense of that hope. We have an ultra clean new generation of trains, planes, automobiles, and spacecraft that are coming your way very fast. We're inventing new types of engines that don't spew out exhaust through pipes of any nature. They're electrically powered through ultra-clean electricity generators that will boggle your mind. Silent hovering vehicles that will, over the next few decades, make highways a stress of the past. My team is cracking two major breakthroughs. Gravity-powered engines for moving about in new cars, new planes, new spacecraft, all of them within my lifetime. And starting this year and next, our new test devices will actually break open the whole field of gravity propulsion for everything that moves under power. In parallel to that, the same physics that my team is working on is on the electricity generation that relies only upon a kickstart, only a kickstart of fuel rather than continuously requiring fuel to generate electricity. Those two are major breakthroughs that will totally transform and distinguish 21st century life from 20th century life in every single way. Self-powered homes with a use for the grid only to store electricity already generated. No more disposable batteries ever needed, just self-powering phones. How about phones that can float with gravity accelerometers inside? And cars that can hover and make freeways a hybrid of the past and the future of vehicles that can lift off of your garage. Your garage can have landing lights with these types of vehicles that are in design now. I hope that I am remembered for having made a difference, structural difference, a systematic, hopeful vision that was rugged enough, true enough, in both scientific and spiritual senses, to give a lasting hope for the third millennium. I believe that the third millennium of our sacred world can be so much more than we think today. I mean, imagine if every young girl and boy at 8 years old actually believed that by the time they're 18 or 20, they could be traveling in space. I hope that we can even do better than that in giving every young girl and every young boy born a true vision of who they can be, and helping to pioneer a new colony on another planet, helping to rebuild a new city rising from our new technologies that can restore the gardens, the open spaces, the nature that we once had. Those are the kinds of things that I would like the young men and women of the world to grow up to. We have a planet to save here, and I'm not abashed about saying that I'd like to help save this planet. I think I will make a difference in leadership of new sciences coming to light, and also a revitalization of the recognition that I came to in 1997. So imagine that in 10 years you can lift off from your home in a car that's safe and flies in a gravity field and can hover without having a gargantuan fuel tank, and simply recharges either in flight or when you touch down anywhere.
Sounds far-fetched.
It does, doesn't it? But ask yourself, really? Is it that far-fetched? Because we're getting so close to every single thing that I've just said, and the only thing that's been missing is, how does gravity work? How does it work? My team is cracking that code right now, and we're further along than anybody else in the world that I know of.